This is a review for Unit 2. Follow notes as I go with along. This is Chapter 6, and we take a census every 10 years because the Constitution wants to set how many people are in the House of Representatives, and the Census Act stated that the people who hired illegal workers must prove that they are legal, and this was done, of course, to try to cut down a member of how many people came over illegally. And political culture is our value system, like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and so on. Now, there's several questions over political socialization, and that's just how did you get the beliefs that you have? Why do you believe in the death penalty and so on? And of course, we all know that the family is the #1 influence that you have over your political beliefs. Coming down to some polls, there'll be a couple questions over the different polls. Remember, the random polling sampling is everyone in your group must have an equal chance to be picked. Now, a sample poll is taking a small portion of a population and saying that this represents the large population. And let's go down here. Some of this we're going to pick up in other chapters, so don't panic. All right, Chapter 9. Nomination is the way that you want to run for office. You can get someone to nominate you. Caucuses used to be the way that we would pick all the candidates by the leaders, but now we still have caucuses, but now anybody can come. Most of the time we choose our delegates who are going to choose the president through primaries. And the primaries have become more important than the conventions because now we know who is going to win the nomination even before the convention starts. The McGovern Commission tried to make the convention look a little more like America. They had requirements. You had to have so many women, so many minorities, so many younger people, and so on. Superdelegates are delegates that are picked by the leadership. They're not voted on, and they act just like a primary delegate. And one of the criticisms of the primary system is that only 20% of the people actually vote in the primary system, and of course only 40% actually vote in the general election. So that's still a very small number that would pick the people who is going to be the one of the two candidates would be president. Also, New Hampshire is the most important because it's the first. And New Hampshire is really not that important as far as how many delegates it has. So those are two criticisms. Also, it takes a lot of money. Okay, let's go to the Federal Election Campaign Act. That set up the Federal Election Commission. Its main job is to require that all the contributions be recorded and put a limit on how much money people can give to one person. Now, also it says that if your area has a significant amount of a minority, like you're in an area that has a lot of German population, well, all the ballots must be printed in that language also. Now, soft money is money given to the political parties, not the candidates, and there is no limit on how much you can give, and no one records how much you give. Now, we're not going to every question, but this should help you get a good start on it. All right, we know political action committees, their main job is to raise money and collect money and give to candidates, hoping that if this candidate gets elected, hoping that they will help them get their goals completed. Okay, Chapter 10, there's law in Chapter 10. Referendum is when your state puts a bill up to vote on the next election. Initiative is when the people can get enough voters in the last election to sign their petition. The people can force a law up for a vote that will bypass the state legislature. Now there are several significant elections. One was in 1800s, and there was no primary and no nominations and so on. A couple important things. The election ended up in the House of Representatives because no one won a majority, and it was the first peaceful transfer of power from one party to the other. Now, this was a critical election is when, for some reason, people changed parties. The Great Depression, a lot of Republicans believed that we need to do something, so they changed parties and voted for Roosevelt, a Democrat. Okay, we're going to get Bush election in another place. This is when the belief that the average citizen can make a difference. Now, voting, when you're registered to vote, you must register 30 days ahead of time. And most Americans do not vote. More than half of the Americans do not vote in any election. A general election, like a president's election, is the highest one. Now, the Motor Voter Act allowed us to register young voters when they register the car, and we thought maybe this would help. Now, who votes? Higher educated people, older people, minorities do not vote as much, women vote more than men, married votes more than single. Mandate: when a president's elected and he ran on a certain issue, he believes he has a mandate to finish that issue. Party identification is still the best way to determine how a person is going to vote. And let's see, we're going pretty fast here. Winner take all. Other than Nebraska and Maine, all the other states, whoever wins the majority vote, the popular vote, gets all of the electoral votes. Let's see. Okay, I talked about Bush and Gore. Bush won the electoral vote, and Bush won the popular vote. Of course, Bush became the president. And the last thing is how you vote. You could vote the way the person you want to vote for voted. So you'll look up his voting records, and if he voted the way you would like to vote, then you can vote for him. Okay, I'm going to stop it. This is a pretty fast review. Hopefully it helps you some, and hopefully I got it recorded in time.